Thought I'd spend a few minutes discussing my view of Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin. Putin started the interview with a long winded, lasting 40 to 50 minutes, boring and fanciful historical narrative, which in Putin's mind justifies the absorption of Ukraine into Russia, which is his goal. Uh, the historical myths that Putin has created have been debunked in several articles already. I'll just cite a few. One is published today in Time magazine, titled Putin's Myth About Ukraine Debunked. And in a previous extensive series about the history of Ukraine, can be found in the series of lectures by the noted historian Timothy Snyder. It's in the Yale Courses series at YouTube, and is titled called The Making of Modern Ukraine. If Ukrainians viewed themselves as Russians, why have they resisted Russia's invasion so valiantly, with tremendous sacrifices? The answer is simple. Ukrainians view themselves as Ukrainians and the country as an independent democracy rather than an appendage of Putin's totalitarian and Orwellian state, which is called Russia. Just a brief history, as I understand it. What was known as Kiev Rus was founded in around the 9th century, and it was in power until it was overthrown by the Mongols in the 13th century. The modern Ukrainian language traces its origins to the old East Slavic language that existed in Kiev Rus centuries before the area now known as Moscow was settled. Ukrainians have their own distinct language and cultural identity, but have been ruled by many foreign states, starting with the Mongols. The southwestern territories of modern-day Ukraine, including Kiev, were conquered by the Poland and Lithuania around the 14th century, and for the next 400 years or so, most of modern-day Ukraine was governed by the Poland-Lithuania Commonwealth. During that period, there were competing tribes of Cossacks that held control over parts of Ukraine and who would fight among themselves or ally themselves from time to time with Poland and Lithuania or Russia, playing one off the other with the goal of having autonomy or achieving autonomy from both. Russian rule over most of Ukraine started in the late 1700s with Catherine the Great, with the western section ruled as part of the Austrian Empire. According to how Putin defines geographic territory using ancient history, Mongolia has a claim on Ukrainian territory, as does modern-day Poland and Lithuania, with the latter two countries having ruled areas of Ukraine far longer than the Soviet Union. The first Soviet census in 1926 showed that ethnic Ukrainians still far outnumbered ethnic Russians in eastern Ukraine. The ethnic makeup was only changed in the 1930s as a result of the Russian genocide known as Holodomor that wiped out millions of Ukrainians. There was no substantial Russian presence in eastern or southern Ukraine prior to the 19th century. The cities of Luhansk and Donetsk were founded by English industrialists in 1795 and 1869, respectively. Using Putin's logic, the United Kingdom, England has a claim over those territories that are probably better using Putin's formula than that of Russia. But territorial boundaries in Europe are not set by whatever ruler governed a particular geographic area in ancient times. The boundaries of what is now Ukraine was established in Lenin's time, and that state became independent of the Soviet Union in 1991, as did many other states whose sovereignty within their boundaries are recognized under international law. And Russia recognized Ukraine's sovereignty in the 1995 Budapest Memorandum, where Russia acknowledged the Ukraine's sovereignty within its then existing borders, which included Crimea and eastern Ukraine, and that was confirmed in the 1995 Sochi Accord that Crimea was part of Ukraine. In the 1997 Treaty of Friendship, Russia recognized the inviolability of Ukraine's existing borders and agreed again to respect its territorial integrity. Russia started to violate all of its treaty obligations with the annexation of Crimea in 2014 and by starting a war of succession in eastern Ukraine the same year. Russia's invasion in February 2022 was a continuation of its treaty violations. Any promise made by Russia relating to Ukraine or anything else for that matter is worthless. Putin's historical narrative is not only wrong but irrelevant under international law. He is merely using its revisionist history as a justification for a land grab in violation of international law and Russia's treaty obligations.